In an ever-changing media world, businesses and advertisers are constantly looking for new ways to sell their products, and strategies such as product placement are coming to the fore. Our next guest is an award-winning expert in this field. She's here to help us negotiate the minefield of product integration in modern media and discuss some of its successes. Joining us on the couch is Senior Channel Manager at Omnicom Media Group, Shireen Jaftha. Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you.
Now, you are obviously, and I mean at the moment, like almost a guru when it comes to marketing and strategies when it comes to broadcasting.
I don't know if I'm a guru.
You're getting there quickly.
They say an overnight success happens in like over 10 years.
Exactly.
I think with Fuse, it's kind of evolved in the last 18 months, being a senior channel strategist at Omnicom Group for the last 4 years. For me, I think understanding it and understanding the dynamics of broadcasting and understanding the dynamics of strategy, it kind of complements each other in a sense. You know how to draw in your audience because you understand what they want to see, and you also know from a strategic perspective what the client's business issues are that they want to relay to the consumer. So trying to find that common ground or that sort of commonality without losing interest, that's basically what it is.
Yeah, it's almost like a unique language, and understanding what people want to hear and what they want to see. It's a fine art, really.
It is, because especially if you're buying into content and you're planning product placement or active placement or storyline, there are variables of how you do integration. It's a lot about it's about building the likability or bringing your brand closer to the consumer.
Yeah.
Now you're tapping into their spaces.
Yeah.
So if you're too overt, they kind of switch off and they might hate it. Or if they really entrenched in it, they're going to love it.
Well,
so
the message has got to be honest, I suppose.
Yeah, you've got to find that common ground.
Yeah. So your company recently scooped a gold award and a highly commended award for branded content. Like, congratulations. What does it feel like to be able to have such high acclaim?
Well, in the media industry, I think the Amasa Award, that used to be Roger Garlick. So last year they changed the whole award ceremony and they called it Amasa. And Roger Garlick, if you go back in history from a media perspective, is almost like the Luries from a media perspective. So this is where strategists are being recognized for strategic innovation. And yeah, I mean, for Think Big, it's just been amazing.
Yeah, you won for Think Big. What was the show about exactly? Because you didn't use any presenters or media people per se. You used professionals, or business professionals.
Yeah. So Think Big was a television show, and it was linked strategically because we needed to drive people obviously to a banking portal. Now, when you think about banking website, you think, well, you know what, I'm only there to do transactions. And what we needed to do was we wanted to empower entrepreneurs. And the only way we could do that was to use a mass platform and pull them in and pull them into online and share the type of tools that we wanted them to use.
Amazing.
And that's basically what we did.
It's such a necessity because I suppose everything nowadays is online. I mean, tell me about the host of the show and how you went about selecting the hosts.
Yeah, I can't take credit for all. There was an entire team, I promise. So Nabuntu, and you've got Nabuntu Webster. I mean, she's like a motivational speaker and also a marketing guru in her own right. And then you have Derek, who is a sort of guru when it comes to small businesses, and they were selected based on their skill and obviously understanding the small enterprise business. It was easier to have and bring the realism of non-scripted type of show across, so that people can resonate with it, and that's what you wanted to do. You wanted to come across as more approachable to them.
Exactly.
Derek had a skill that if he had to just look at financials, he was able to tell the entire story of a business.
Oh, wow,
so
that's the opposite of me.
Yeah, that was really amazing. And Nabuntu she could determine whether all they basically needed was just a marketing plan, just to put their business out there, and between the two of them, I really think that they were dynamic.
Amazing. Now, what about the finalists? How were they selected?
So the finalists were selected on a what we had was different businesses from different sectors, because the type of tools that we wanted to share was, obviously we wanted to pull in people and wanted to share different trends and tools that covered whether it was an agri, or it was manufacturing, or it was in the service or marketing. And a lot of the time, I think using the TV show as the conduit was a positioning sort of tool in terms of helping and empowering small enterprises or small businesses. And one, we knew that there's always a lack of mentorship.
Yeah.
So driving them to the portal sort of just helped them with the tools that they needed.
Well, you were actually involved in another show like that called Business Coach, was it?
Yeah, so that's kind of how the journey of Fuse started. When I joined Omnicom Group, they'd acquired a TV show called Business Coach, and for me it was just natural. It was a natural flair. I kind of just started, new strategist, first brief, and yeah, we ran with it. And it actually built in, I mean, it built that loyalty and that love, I think, for the brand.
Yeah. And I mean, this isn't something new. This is something that we've been seeing like on James Bond films for like the past 50 years. How is it modernized?
So it's not new. I think with the transition of mobile becoming the first screen and television will become your second screen, we know that people view mobile more. So even globally, you'll see that now you've got TV shows like Game of Thrones or Extant, and they like these 6 parts, right? As opposed to blockbusters. That's because the networks are trying to change behavior to drive you and create content for mobile. And it's going to become a lot more interesting, because a lot of people already on, I think, like on social sites, when people go into ad break, you see the spike in social media sites. And then they come back and then they watch their content. So
I'm completely guilty of that.
so you'll see that there's a shift in terms of how to attract a consumer from a marketing perspective. But there's also that making sure that you don't lose the credibility, which is what I wanted to mention earlier, the credibility of the content. So it's got to be smooth, and you're tapping into that space.
Yeah. All right. We're going to be back on the couch with you in a little while to chat so much more. After the break, Danilo makes us barbecue glazed angelfish-filled fried buns. If you think that's a mouthful, wait until you see what he's making. And more from Shireen Jaftha. We'll be right back after this. We're back on the couch with, of course, our fantastic guest. So
I'm very fascinated about product placement when it comes to television, and you've done work where you integrate product placement into soapies.
Yes.
How do you do it in such a way that the audience reacts to it almost unknowingly?
So there are 3 variables of how to do product placement. So product placement is not just like putting your brand out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where there's a bit of a miscommunication a lot of the time. Product placement is, for argument's sake, if you saw say an ATM, right? And somebody passes it, or you see a logo, or you see a sports figure or anything, or a logo. That's about 1 or 2 seconds. So it entrenches in the mind.
like a subliminal
It's a subliminal
message.
thing, yeah. Then active placement is obviously way of action. So for instance, someone would say, I just want to stop at the ATM, I need to draw money. But you're not mentioning the brand because it's natural. You're not going to stand at a bar and say, hey, listen, I have to go to this bank to do that. You know?
But is the success of that so that when we watch that on a soap, we go, oh, shucks, I actually also have to go and draw money?
No, so the success of that is obviously it's top of mind in terms of active and passive placement. I call product placement active, passive, and then you get storyline integration. And a lot of the time with storyline integration is where you find 2 actors that are actually playing a role. So they're trying to demystify what it is that the business challenge is for a company. For instance, if packaging was an issue with a particular product, the 2 characters would play out, you know, there's a problem with this. And by way of that, you're actually educating that viewer of why you did the packaging in a certain way.
Wow. Well, I mentioned the Bond films earlier because they obviously have been doing it for many years. What examples can you give us from that example?
from the Bond movies.
Yeah.
There's like the car, the Aston
Martin,
Martin,
yes.
you've got the watch.
watch.
And I think the new Bond movie's got like over 44 product placements in there.
And obviously there's always an Apple product in almost every film you see, and you hear that famous ring.
They're very subtle, very integrated. If it's a new product, a lot of the time when you have, perhaps if it's a financial product or it's something that you've got to educate someone about, you do need to integrate it in like those 3 pillars. If it's a brand that everybody loves and there is no education about your product, like in the Bond, you know, the Aston Martin, everybody knows what it's about. So product placement or passive placement and active placement, I mean, that works. You know, you can identify with those brands.
So, congratulations is in order because you were featured in the Forbes Africa Women's magazine, and Destiny
Destiny's
magazine named
top
you
40.
one of their top 40 women.
Yes.
That's amazing. How does that feel?
And the industry is
Congratulations.
just throwing awards at you.
To be honest, it's actually it's happening organically. It comes with no effort. You know, I always say, if you love what you do, you don't have to work a single day in your life. And I think that's just happened. And it is kind of surreal because I'm wondering, like, why, when all I'm doing is I do what I love.
But you do work exceptionally hard to the point that your health was really badly affected.
Yes, so I was at SABC. And a few years ago, I'm working on a project called Heartlines with Mandela when he endorsed it. Yes. So I was diagnosed with cancer. So I had bladder cancer at my age. And I sat down thinking, so here I am, a mother. What's the legacy I want to leave behind it? You know, if anything had to happen with me or anything had to, you know, my kids could lose their parent, where do I take it from here? And I put my heart and soul into, you know, trying to make the best out of that project, that it actually was basically the project that taught me how to do branded content effectively. Because one was, you had 8 episodes, but you had to make it a national conversation. So it was 8 weeks, 8 values, 1 national conversation. How did you make that a national conversation? Was obviously to get someone like Mandela to endorse it and start the conversation. And I think during that stint, coordinating all that activity, the show, the promos, the buy-in, the endorsements, the show in 8 weeks sort of generated over 3,000 PR pieces. So how do you weave that all in and keep it all together, you know, on that level? I didn't even, to be honest, I mean, I didn't feel anything. I just threw everything in there. But my health deteriorated.
I was actually fascinated when I was reading your story, because actually what you resorted to was, rather than throwing yourself into work, was actually a few home remedies that actually made you feel and
So not only did you win
better.
the fight, you came back with some tips for us.
So when I had cancer, I had, my hair fell out at the back, so I had a bit of hair here, and you lose your hair. Very minimal, because there is no like a chemo thing for bladder cancer. You actually go into theatre, and so it's called a cystoscopy, and they scrape it like they would skin cancer, and then you take like an antibiotic after. But it does affect your skin. Your skin becomes dry, and you know, your hair starts falling out. So I mean, I went to just about everything in terms of all these beauty things that we have to do, like the toner, the cleanser, the peeling, and everything. And until my grand said, you know what, actually, let's try baking soda.
Wow.
We actually have an example set over here. If you want to show us how you did it, because this is fascinating to me. I need to know how you worked it and what happened. So to make your hair grow back?
Well, so what it basically does is...
Hello. You're a guinea pig. Okay, so what did it do?
So I have almost no pigmentation, like really almost nothing. And what it did was it also strengthened my hair. And, you know, the natural shine, and it started growing faster because the baking powder actually opens up the cuticles on your hair, on your scalp.
I'm finished.
So it kind of detox. It's like a detox.
Because scalp care is essentially skincare.
Yes.
Because your hair grows.
And
from
it
your
removed all of your pigmentation and made your hair grow back.
So it's not an overnight thing. Like I said, I used it for a very long time, 2 years. It's something that you can do. Now I only do it like once or twice a month when I really feel like I need to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, gradually you'll actually start seeing the difference.
Yeah.
And we haven't branded the baking soda, so this isn't product placement. But gee, watch baking soda sales soar.
Yeah.
Now
Well,
that's
I'm going to buy some the minute I leave today.
It's a miracle.
It's not a miracle. They say use white vinegar and it helps with dandruff,
Yeah.
when you rinse your hair
I
with it.
drink apple cider vinegar.
Not
Yeah.
apple cider.
Oh, not just white one.
It
I
could be
drink
apple cider, I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, you know what? I just resorted going back to like home remedies for my skin, for my hair. And I mean, people would like use horse shampoo and use this. And I just
Guilty.
find a lot of those products are so diluted. And eventually, if it's not made for your hair, how's it going to help you, you know?
No, I've used horse shampoo to try and make it grow quicker.
And did it work?
It just makes it terrible.
Dry.
It makes it so dry. I need so much. Okay, so what are we going to do here?
You've got to... Okay, hold this.
Your hair's going to grow, darling.
And how,
No,
many,
it's not.
how many times a month would you use this? You said twice.
I use it twice a month, but you can use it like once a week because I think what it does is like it just takes off all that toxins
Is it like
and it
rub it in the
strips
scalp?
everything. Yeah, so I would shampoo my hair. Her hair is not shampooed. Okay. I would shampoo my hair, put my conditioner on, and put this on top of the conditioner.
Oh, right.
So then just leave it on like a mask, and I think she'll start feeling her
It
scalp
feels like it's bubbling a bit.
tingling.
What can you feel?
Cold.
Oh, really? But is it tingling or...?
She'll start feeling it eventually.
Yeah, slightly. It's like
If it's tingling, it's working.
it's like quick bubbles. You can feel the bubbles.
So it's bubbling on you. Don't worry, this is safe.
But you can, yeah, so you'll start feeling it in your scalp. I mean,
Yeah, it tickles.
That is
it does, it
amazing.
tingles, it like tingles, yeah.
Awesome.
Wow, after the break, Danilo wraps up our dinner in the kitchen and we get under the skin with radio presenter and model Twala Ngambi.
Hello YouTubers, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel because we've got full episodes available for you. All those really cool interviews we've done, all the cool performances are right over there for you. So all you have to do is click subscribe. It's somewhere over here on this side of my face. Click it right now. Do it.